when I was watching the Super Bowl, I saw Alabama and Georgia represented pretty damn well. The Eagles have assembled a Super Bowl team with Alabama and Georgia being the primary backbone of it. And Super Bowl 59 showed why both Alabama and Georgia are the two gold standards of college football. And with both teams having 13 total players combined represented in Super Bowl 59, it shows that if you want to receive elite level coaching and you want to be developed into an NFL ready prospect that can make a contribution at the pro level as soon as your rookie season, going to Alabama and Georgia gives you the best chance out of any other colleges in America to do so. Every program in college football is somewhat modeled and constructed after Kirby Smart's Georgia and Nick Saban's Alabama, because those have been the two programs that have run college football. They have been, if you want to call it, the face of college football. If you go up to a random person on the street that's just an average college football fan and they don't keep up with it that much, and you ask them, hey, like, what are two programs that you think of first when you talk about college football? They probably say Alabama, Georgia, Nick Saban, Kirby Smart. And even though Nick Saban is gone, Kalen DeBoer, during his final season at Washington, put 10 players into the NFL. 3 of them got drafted in the first round from offense. Offensive tackle, Roma Dunze, and Michael Penix. So Alabama's tradition, along with Georgia, of being a football factory was reaffirmed by watching Super Bowl 59. The Philadelphia Eagles said that let's not overcomplicate how we're going to build this team. Why not just take the best players from the two best programs in college football and draft them? Because they know how to win. They know what it takes to be a champion. They know the work that it takes to become a champion, and they're used to the grind. And it makes the transition from college to pro a lot easier when you play for a program like Alabama or Georgia, because that's what those two operations are. They pretty much are NFL programs. You don't get these many players drafted as much as what both Alabama and Georgia have if you somewhat weren't an NFL ran operation yourself. You know, the way Georgia recruits defensive tackles is similar to the way that the NFL looks at defensive tackles. Georgia defensive tackles look way different from anybody else in college football. When you look at certain recruits out of high school that are 300 plus pounds and they're running 4.7, 4.8, you know they're a Georgia Bulldog, because Jalen Carter, Jordan Davis are freakish defensive tackles. They're massive human beings running 4.8. Those are freakish 1% caliber humans. That's what Georgia looks for out of their defensive tackles and their offensive linemen. They just have identity for what they look for in their players, and that's the same identity that the NFL has in terms of what they're looking for at that level. They want the best of the best. They want the 1% human beings, and that's what Georgia, along with Alabama, have a lot of. Will Anderson is an X-Men. He's something that you can only build in a football factory. Same thing with Dallas Turner. Like Alabama and Georgia, when you think of crazy athletes, 1%ers, specimen, the best of the best, guys that are freaks, cyborgs, they normally are on Alabama and Georgia. And to succeed in the NFL, or at least the players that have the most success, you got to be a freakish athlete. And with Alabama and Georgia producing them, pretty much being a football factory, that's why they had so many players represented in Super Bowl 59. Devontae Smith was the first Alabama player to catch a touchdown in the Super Bowl. He also is one of the few football players ever to win a Super Bowl, a Heisman Trophy, and a national championship. There are so many key contributors of Georgia's 2021, 2022 back-to-back national title run that is a member of the Philadelphia Eagles Super Bowl squad this year. Jalen Carter, N'Kobe Dean, Keely Ringo. Harry Roseman is a great general manager, not just because he's some guru football expert, but because he doesn't overcomplicate it. He has an eye for what's a good player at every position, what's the baseline, and, he gets the best players from the best programs. And the majority of this team is comprised of players from Alabama and Georgia. And Super Bowl 59 showed us why these two programs are the gold standard for what every program in college football is striving to be. Even Ohio State, Oregon, some of the programs that, I know Ohio State just won a national championship, but some of the programs that have been great and didn't have a Nick Saban or Kirby Smart as their head coach, are still somewhat influenced by their approach or the approaches of these two programs.